So at the end of our last episode, I called out that tenacious toad Jad as the first name on our hit list. If you want to hear those more fleshed out plans, make sure you watch the end of episode 3. But until we get to the fight caves, we have plenty more work to do. One thing I absolutely have to do this episode is get my crafting up, because lore runes don't come easily for us, and walking around this map is destroying my soul. So I certainly have Rings of Dueling in my sights. This is going to be a game-changing quality of life teleport for me. And the other piece of jewellery I have my eye on before getting stuck into Slayer is that Xeric's Talisman. I really want to have easy catacomb access, because that's where we're going to be slaying a lot of stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long walk from a Wintertot telly, or we're going to have to sit on the Arceus spellbook when I really want to be alching a lot of stuff. So we absolutely need that Xeric's. I think with our combat right now, the best strategy is going to be cracking into some stone chests to get our hands on it, whilst at the same time getting some of that Xeratian fabric for a major wardrobe upgrade. So with that said, let's get into today's video. First thing I'm doing, picking up some seeds so I can begin my farming, and just got a random thieving level as we go. I need to get a lot of thieving done. I think I'm going to do mostly fruit stalls, but I do think I need a handful of early game seeds as well. Right, got a cheeky couple of levels here, and I think that's an early enough amount of seeds for us. So let's finally go to our house and get some tools so I actually can begin farming. Right, first thing we need to do is purchase a workshop. And from there, we can use our tool spaces. This is absolutely integral to the account. There's actually a few tool spaces, so I'm going to leave a couple... okay, so I have to leave the building mode to actually grab the stuff. Oh, it's over there. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Oh, I don't have to tear them down. I can have different positioned ones. This is insane. I thought I brought more logs thinking I needed all of them, but they're just in different spaces. That's actually so good for me. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is busted. I'm going to have access to everything. There's the fourth one. There's the molds. We definitely needed those. The apron and glass blowing pipe there. I could get the pipe pretty easily, but the apron was good for the crafting guild for our molds, if we hadn't already just built that. And there's the farming stuff. We are set. Let's exit building mode and pick up some stuff. Shearing a sheep to get some wool with our newly acquired shears, thanks to our new tool stores. And now I can do a new quest, actually. So let's go do that. Giant's Foundry complete, 32 smithing. I need to get to 35 for steel skimmy. I think that's one of our better training weapons into... I think I just skip myth, honestly, so I might have to go to Fally and go to the mines to purchase a rune pickaxe, and then we're going to do some more smithing, I think. It's our main man Nermorph again. This time we're buying a rune pick, so I can do much faster mining now. I think I already have some stuff in the bank though, so I think I'm going to go straight to the furnace, and that's at the fight pits. That's the plan. So after banging our hammer, we have arrow tips, knives, a couple of studs for when we're eventually going to get some studded armor, and you can see I've got the iron kit out as well as the steel skimmy ready to go. So we can do some combat training very soon, which is looking pretty awesome. Very early game armor, but it's going to do the job. The first thing I want to do though is finish a dwarf cannon. We've been holding on to these notes for way too long, and we're finally on the correct side of the map for me to wander up that way, finish off that quest and begin crafting, because that's actually what we're going to do. We're going to kill some chickens and cows. I want some feathers for those arrow tips to actually start getting some arrows collected for when we start our ranged training, but also I need some cow hides to begin our early game crafting. You can see I've already got 12 cow hides there to my name. We're going to need a few more to get those early crafting levels, and then I can go on to even more questing, if you can believe it. Kickstarting our crafting with 7, and that means I can do gold bracelets, which is actually really good. I think I will be doing a lot of gold jewellery for my eventual crafting levels, but for now we're going to home telly and start laying into some chickens and cows. There's something just so nostalgic about being back at the old pens, isn't there? Phoenix, don't look at what I'm doing to your brethren. 5 attack, we get the lovely steel skimmy upgrade. Look at this beast. First trip at the cows all done. I think I'm just going to put everything in there. We got 1k feathers, which should be good for those arrow shafts, and also we want to get to 20 base on our combats before I have to worry about getting a myth skim. That's the plan. We just hit the 20 base with that 20 defense level. That is absolutely awesome. We've got a lot of cowhide, plenty of trips down, but there we go. We can wear the mithril now that's in our bank. I think we have a chain and a skirt. I can't remember if we have a helmet or not, but yeah, that is awesome. We are getting close actually to that 40 prayer. I need to still figure out how I'm going to get the rest of my prayer levels. I'm thinking like maybe green dragons, moss giants, those sorts of things right now. But I think that's it for a little mini combat grind, just to get some nice levels going early. But it was really all about getting the cowhides for crafting, so that's our next mission. So it's an absolute headache to actually tan these cowhides. It's by no means going to be easy. There is a place in Canifis where I can tan the leathers, but there's no bank I can get back to. So we are going to have to dip into the old lore rune fund here and get onto the Arceus spellbook. So here's the plan. We're going to use the Frankenstein's Castle teleport, and we have exactly the right magic level to get that, which means I need to pick up some soul runes, but I can do that in our trusty magic shop down south. And then we are going to do the home teleport. Actually, no, it's the respawn point teleport. Where is it? This one. And this also takes soul runes, so it's a more expensive way to get to Lumbridge. But from there, I can use the kayak transportation to get me to a bank that I can actually use. I think that's going to be the round trip I have to do. I can't think of a quicker or closer way. Otherwise, it's going to be constantly trying to get like ecto tokens and going in and out through those banks. But yeah, this is going to be a hefty trip. I really hope we don't have to do too many of these, because I want to hold on to my lore runes as much as I can. These soul runes are going to be expensive. And I also need to find a bronze axe, actually. I forgot to bring that with me. I need that for my kayak idea to get me to Ferox so I can actually use a bank chest. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Where would I be without you, Rhaegar? Thank you so much for the soul runes. Now we can do the Frankenstein's teleport and get me close enough to the Tanner, which is going to be just in this place here. You can see the clothes shop. Fortunately, they're a werewolf, so we can chat to them. Also, the general store has the thread that I need to complete it, and we should be all good from there. Level 8. We're trying to get to 20. Gonna swing by Fred's old place and take the axe here, and then we're gonna do the canoe so that we can get to Ferox, and that's gonna be my banking strat to get rid of all this leather stuff and reload with cowhides. Alright, we're closing in on 20, and that means we can start doing elemental workshop quests. That's what this was all about, which is absolutely fantastic, because it means we can push even further with our crafting now, and that means we can hopefully unlock a big thing for the account. Literally, who's even going to mess with me at this point? I look like an absolute beast right now, rocking the myth chain, myth plate, got the steel skim. We are smashing this. Not even close. Sit down, brother. We've just got ourselves a mine shield. Let's bash straight on to the second one. We've also just got 39 smithing as well as 27 crafting. And that's the crucial number we need, actually. Obviously still going to do the other quest, but emerald rings, that is for rings of dueling. And this entire time I've been using our games necklace, but that is a far superior bit of jewellery that can get us to Castle Walls banking, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, very happy to get 27 crafting. Let's get on with the second part of this quest. Just been to the exam centre thinking I could teleport straight to Camelot, but obviously I'm on the wrong spell book, so that's a real treat. I'm going to have to go to an altar first and get back on standard, then get to Camelot again. And part 2 completed. Let's see the levels fly in. 41 smithing, that is insane. We can now do gold bars, which means we have a much easier way of doing future crafting levels, but it also means we can do our own jewellery so much easier now, which is insane. And we got to the 32 crafting as well, which is excellent.
The Lord of the Rings.
So, after cutting the gems that we got from Wintertot in the bank, also the silver bars into tiaras, we've actually got ourselves to a very tasty 44 crafting now, which is amazing. In the process, I've also got my hard leather because we already had the steel studs created. So I have a nice little early game ranging setup here. In my downtime, I also just started to get some of these steel arrows on the go. So that's looking pretty lovely. The one thing I want to do before we get towards that, though, is actually back towards thieving so I can do these stone chests. So we can get some robes and actually do some more magic training. Wanted to try out the stone chest, and you can see we've been here for a little while because it takes such a long time to respawn every time you do the search for traps option, and you get 1 nat each time. But like I said, there are no shops I can buy these nature runes from, so this is probably a good method to get a handful of early ones. But we are actually trying to get our thieving up so I can loot some stone chests instead. That's what we're looking for here. And I think that's 64 or so, something like that. I'll have to check it again. But obviously the XP is so slow here, we're going to move on to different methods. So, quick update, I'm at the sand crabs because I need something to AFK while I do some editing of another video, but I was actually just up north in the Hosidius kitchens doing the fruit stalls because I want to get my thieving all the way up to 64 actually, so I'm going to be there for a decent amount of time. As we know, that's quite click intensive, so I needed something more AFK. We just hit our 30 strength, so we're going to move on to attack. I'm steel skimming all the way, I think, until Runeskim, so this is a perfect little AFK training spot. I've got my nice Addy armor down here as well. I brought the cakes with me and some attack pots that I just had in the bank just for those small buffs, but I'm mostly just looking away right now and having myself gain some passive experience. But the main idea of us being back in this region is so that I can get that thieving up to 64, and I've got a bunch of banked strange fruit as well for running around the map, which is another little bonus, the fruits of our labor with our thieving grind. And that means 30 attack. Now we can get to 30 defense. Looking pretty good so far. I think I'm going to go to the 40s, to be honest with you. I've got so much editing to do. We just got to the 30 defense, so we're switching back to strength, but we get to put on some sweet armor. We got this doing the wilderness agility, and look at us now. Ignore the steel skimmy, but we are looking like an absolute beast. No gloves, no boots, no cape, no jewelry of any kind that helps us, so we're going to have to work on that at some point. But for now, we're just chopping away into these sandies with a good old steel skim, and I think we're going to try and go to 40 attack and strength, which means then I can just cast into some fire giants to get a rune skim, and then we'll look a lot better. So much AFKing later, we got to 38 strength, and we've just hit 40 attack here as well at the crabs. So that's perfect. It means I can get a rune skim now and actually get a huge upgrade. I was thinking about going for like smithing and getting the myth skim. The Addy skim was basically always out of reach, but because I was AFKing anyway, I thought I may as well just get all the way up to 40 now. But that's going to be the end of our little AFK slicing up the sand crabs. We're going to go back to doing some thieving now, which I think is probably for the best. I realised that as I work on my farming, I'm in Hosidius, and I will be here for a number of hours, so I may as well just rake these patches, get the start on my farming grind, get some compost on the go. I've got saltpeter to turn it into at least super compost, and we already thieved the seed stall to get some early game potatoes and marigolds, which is the only thing I can plant right now, but I should be able to get a few trips in. With the amount of thieving that I have, it's just a short run to get over here, so I may as well just get a few crop cycles in. After plenty of fruits picked, we have finally got to 64 thieving, so I can now enter the Lizardman Temple and get the stone chest. And we're going for, obviously, the Xeric's Talisman, so I can actually do more farming here, because that's going to be one of my easier teleports if I just have Xeric's. But also I need the cloth so I can make some robes to actually give myself some magic gear, and then we can have much better bonuses when we're going to be firecasting into a number of things. I want to get a rune skin from fire giants, and I want to farm a few other monsters for some other drops as well. So I'm going to Castle Walls. I need to pick up some super anti-poisons because we can get poisoned by the lizard men, and I also need to pick up a lockpick, and we can do that in Yanil. So need to come back to this side of the map. Probably should have thought about this before I did the thieving, because now I'm wasting a Gabe's Necklace charge, and it's a long run back, but it's what we got to do. So realised I didn't have the agility level to get the lockpick from the Yanil agility dungeon, so we're just here without a lockpick, so our fail rate is going to be a little higher, but I don't have to be here for too long, and we're here for exactly that, the fabric as well as the Xeric's Talisman and some Lizardman Fangs, of course. And look at the finished article. Here we are with our Zeration robes. We look absolutely incredible. And you'll notice I have an amulet of magic here as well. I ran to the wilderness quickly, that's why I'm at Ferox. Picked up some cosmic runes for some enchants, which is fantastic. It means we actually have some damage bonus now in magic. Look at that, the plus 33. Absolutely insane. We are an absolute beast, and it means that I'm going to have a bit more damage with our fire casts. And I think we're going to carry on getting even more item upgrades, because I think we need to improve on this cape. So we're going to make our way to the Tazar area and try and get an obby cape. Coming in on a pretty big level right here, should be it. Yeah, 55 magic. You know what that means? High alchemy unlocked on the account. That was a big reason why I wanted to continue doing this. Obviously, if we get some big drops, that would be great. We're looking for the shield as well as the obby cape. I've been killing both of these guys. This one has the higher chance of dropping the cape, but also drops like the sword, whereas this one drops the shield and the cape at a lower rate. But the shield is actually really big for us because it offers strength bonus and decent defensive stats. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do defenders on the account, so I think that's going to be our best shield for a decent amount of time, to be honest with you. So yeah, going to be really important to try and get these drops, but they're, you know, one in a few hundred, so we're super below rate right now, not to be expected just yet. I'm going to at least 57 magic for an extra enchant. It means I can then do diamond enchants. Then I'll have a think whether or not it's worth carrying on with this. I've blown a lot of my budget into chaos runes, you can see, so I'm prepared to do a decent amount of these just to try and get that obby cape. It's only defensive stats, but it's still pretty decent. I think the biggest drop's actually the shield from these Tazar Kets, but we're going to still give it a decent go. Oh baby, look at this, getting spooned out here. 58 of the Kets slain, and we come out with the shield. I can't even wear it yet, I'm miles away. But even though the cape would be better in the immediate future, this is going to be such a big long-term upgrade for the account. Absolutely insane scenes, and yeah, we just have still many more runes to go through. I think I'm also probably going to do a bunch of range here as well at some point, so it's a matter of time until we get that cape. But yeah, what an amazing sight already. Not going to try and pronounce this because that's just absurd, but yeah, happy to have it at the very least. Taking a quick hiatus from the Tazars to do some green dragons. I think I need roughly about 100, 120 or so dragon bones to get me to at least 43 prayer, and then hopefully if I'm doing it at the Chaos Altar and I get a little bit lucky, maybe all the way up to 44. That would be ideal if I don't die. So that's going to be our plan to round out our overheads, which is kind of overdue after I gave up at Lava Dragons. And then I think I'm going to move on to range training, I think, after this spell of magic. I'm also closing in on 60 magic, so I could also get Mage Training Arena done as well, because Collodion is a shapeshifter, not a human. You'll love to see it. Let's wrap up today's video, risking it all against Collodion, that shapeshifter. We want to get our hands on that God Cape. It provides so many great stats for us, and we are going to be getting into more magic soon. As you can see, we have the overhead, so it's going to be no problem. One thing we actually failed to do was get that Xerix talisman just yet, so I'm going to come back when I have a lockpick. It actually took me way too long to get that fabric in the first place. I think I just need like 1 or 2 more agility levels so I can actually go to Yanil, pick up a lockpick, then come back for those stone chests. And then when we have the Xerix talisman, I think we're going to get started with some Slayer. So make sure you check out the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another one. Cheers.